Hi everyone, welcome back to another video of me playing the Pokemon trading card game. Last time I had someone comment complaining that I was pretty much annihilating a bad deck with a good deck, so this time I decided to show you a video of me getting annihilated by an even better deck than mine. And actually mine is a pretty bad deck in this video. I made some changes to it this past week, and you will see some videos up later of the changes I made. So, but in the meantime, I also wanted to say that I admit that I made a mistake last time when I said that there aren't that many videos you can find of people playing Pokemon trading card game in real life. That's not true. As the commenter posted, you can find plenty of videos from On the Bubble and especially the Top Cut. But what I meant by that was you don't find many videos by people who aren't part of those channels, that aren't part of big channels that specialize in bringing you Pokemon tournaments from all over the world. So, it's really hard for you to find actual videos by just regular people who are out there at League playing every week, stuff like that. So that's basically what these are for, is just so that you can go out and actually see what some of these people are playing. Anyway, so this will be a mirror match, Darkrai versus Darkrai, and my opponent, Michael, he's been playing Darkrai ever since the deck first came out, so he really knows what he's doing. I win the coin flip and decide to go second. He goes first and has an explosive first few seconds. Plays down a Darkrai on the bench, attaches a Dark Claw, Darkness Energy, and plays in, and the Verbank, all within a matter of a few seconds. With Michael, he pretty much knows what he wants to do. He sees the cards in his hands, and he knows, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and then I'm going to end it all with a supporter, and then I'll see what I get after I shuffle my hand, and we'll see from there. And normally, before the rules change, I would be a little worried about my Sableye, that maybe he would get a turn 1 Darkrai and just dunk it. But since the rules change, he cannot attack his first turn, so I'm in the clear. So he's going to Ultra Ball away a random receiver and a Darkness Energy and get another Darkrai, which is really, really good. He wants to set up his Darkrai's as soon as possible. And it's pretty easy to tell just from this video. He knows what he's doing. He's just shuffling, getting his deck all nice and sorted, or unsorted rather. And with that, I think he's done. Yep, he's done. So now it's my turn. I don't have as good of a start. I'm trying to decide what to do. As you can see, I do not have a Darkrai in my hand. I decided to go for the laser. I'm looking for my coin, my lucky coin, but I can't find it, so he just gives me his die. I flip heads on the laser for the sleep, so the Sableye is asleep. Unfortunately, it probably won't stay that way for long. I should definitely play Ultra Ball here to get a Darkrai in play. Attached to Sableye, and looks like that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Ultra Ball away a Verbank, because I won't be needing that anymore, and a Skyla. And after this, I took Skyla out because because Michael pointed out to me after the game we were discussing about what improvements I could make to my deck. He suggested the very first thing I do is take out my Skyla and Colress, because so long as you put in Random Receiver instead, you will have all the access to all your resources that you need. So I don't think I ever played Skyla anyway, whenever I was playing my deck. So I Tool Scrapper away his Dark Claw, probably my only smart decision of the whole game. Put down my Keldeo, because I'm almost certain he runs lasers with the Verbank in play. And play my last card, which is an N. And I think that, all in all, I played about as good as I possibly could have in this game with the cards that I had and the cards that I drew. So, we both shuffle our hands into our decks. For those of you who don't know, N is a supporter. You can only play one supporter card each turn, and the N supporter makes it so that you shuffle your hands into your decks, and then draw cards equal to the number of prize cards that are left. I am sorry, my computer is kind of lagging the video here, so if the audio sync gets off with the video, then I apologize. I'm going to use a Dark Patch, put a Darkness Energy onto Darkrai, and I guess I'm going to Junk Hunt. I'm deciding what I want. I should probably definitely get a Dark Patch and Laser. Yep, looks like that's what I get. So Flip for Sleep after he puts the poison on. He wakes up and draws for his turn. He has all the resources he needs in his hand. Places a Darkness Energy on Sableye. Now he can retreat and get out of that poison. Puts another Dark Claw on his Darkrai. And now he's going to play Skyla. Probably for Dark Patch. Yep. So he's going to shuffle. Probably not too much because he's probably going to use a card that'll have him shuffle his hand again. Or his deck again. He's definitely going to play that Dark Patch and get a Darkness Energy onto, yep, his Darkrai with energy already on it. If he has Energy Switch, then he can retreat and then move the energy from Sableye onto Darkrai, and that would be a turn 2 Night Spear. And that's Energy Switch, and that is a Night Spear knocking out the Sableye. And, ooh, and he also has Bicycle, so he's going to refresh his hand without the need of a supporter. And on top of that, I don't think he's played a supporter this turn. It doesn't matter, he just knocks out Sableye, and I have Mr. Mime on the bench, which prevents damage to any Pokemon on my bench. I think that must have been one of the only good things that I put in my deck that he didn't put in his. And he was mentioning before the game that he probably should have played Mr. Mime, but he was debating between that and some other kind of stuff. And really, Mr. Mime is optional, because you really don't need it for every single deck out there. Like Blastoise decks almost always just target the active, and you don't need to worry about shielding the bench. I just decided to play Mr. Mime because, you know, if you can keep your benched Pokemon alive for that much longer, then it would probably help you out a lot. So I attach a Darkness Energy to Mr. Mime so I can retreat. Looks like I have a Dark Patch. Yep, I have a Darkrai all loaded up, ready to attack. And at this point I can use Night Spear. Oh, and a Dark Claw. Going to put another Sableye on the bench, retreat Mr. Mime, and I can knock the Darkrai at 110, bringing it down to 70 HP, and I can target anything else on the bench. It looks like I'm going to put 110 on the Darkrai, and then 30 onto the bench Darkrai. I don't know if I should have gone for the Sableye instead. In hindsight, maybe I should have, just so I could have taken one prize. Because you never know what that prize could be. It could be an N for when you need it the most. But I was sort of thinking, you know, if I were to aim for that Darkrai a little later, I need as much damage on it as possible. So Michael's going to play Computer Search. He's going to get rid of the Enhanced Hammer, since it's pretty obvious by now I don't play any Special Energy. That's a very good card to get rid of. Otherwise, it's just something in your hand or in your deck that you don't want there. So he's going to get rid of the Enhanced Hammer. And looks like it's going to be, he's trying to decide, it's going to be another Dark Energy, which is, I think, the right thing to do. The more Dark Energy you have in your discard pile, the better. Then you can just Dark Patch and get them onto Darkrai without having to attach for the turn. Or to Sableye, and then you can just get the Dark Patches back later with Sableye. Or a Dowsing Machine if you play it, but he just played Computer Search, so that tells me he doesn't play it. And really, with Darkrai decks, Computer Search is probably the better ace-spec to play, because if you need stuff out of the discard pile, that's what Sableye is for. The only other options I can really think of are Gold Potion, which no one really plays, or Scramble Switch, which is iffy considering we still have Energy Switch in format. Or not still, but we have it back. So it looks like he got a Dark Patch with his Computer Search. First he's going to Max Potion the energy off, or the damage off of that bench Darkrai. That was very nice. He plays Tool Scrapper, get rid of my Dark Claw, and Professor Juniper, which was the last card in his hand, so he just got a fresh hand of 7. And I believe he almost decked himself out in this game. Very, very close, but he plays his deck very well, as I have said. So he probably had a plan all along, you know, get as low as possible, and then if he gets too low, then just work with it. So he plays a laser, puts my Darkrai to sleep, and then plays random receiver to find another supporter, probably for next turn. And he gets a Professor Juniper, which is probably the better supporter that he could have drawn. I don't know if he plays more than one Skyla in his deck. He's already actually played one during the game. But if he had gotten in, that would have actually helped me out a little bit if he had decided to play it next turn. And at any rate, Professor Juniper is just the better supporter for him. It helps him get his, it helps him get Pokemon when he needs them, or not Pokemon, but resources, any kind of resource. So I flip heads on the sleep, so I wake up, but it doesn't matter because I got the Keldeo on the bench, and it has a darkness energy to it, so I can rush in to get out of the poison, and then retreat for my turn, which will put Darkrai back up there. Pretty much, it'll just take the poison, and if Darkrai were still asleep, the sleep off of Darkrai. So I rush in and retreat. Don't know if I should have waited to do that till I was farther along in my turn. But it doesn't matter. It looks like all that was in my hand was 2 dark energies, so there wasn't much else I could have done. I think, at spoiler alert, from this point on, I draw 0 supporters, which is very unfortunate. I really needed supporters in order to get stuff done. So I decide to Night Spear Darkrai and then 30 to the bench Darkrai. And at this point, the bench Darkrai has 40 HP left. I'm probably hoping I could laser it or something. He attaches to Darkrai, but then takes it back and Ultra Balls away the 2 dark energies. Doesn't get anything. And even if he had something in his deck, he could have opted not to take it. You do have that option with Ultra Ball. Since your deck is not public knowledge, then you can search your deck and then shuffle, decide not to pick anything. And then if there's not anything there, obviously you're not going to take anything. So he plays a 3rd Darkrai onto the bench. Actually, I don't know how long that's been there. I just now noticed it. He puts an energy on it. He has 1 Darkrai with 2 energy, another Darkrai with 1, and then his active already has 3. He plays a Bianca for his turn, as the supporter for his turn. And Bianca is a really good card to have, I think. For this, it just helps you to get more cards in your hand. And this is after he's bicycled. So he is drawing cards like nobody's business. I think he's drawn maybe 8 cards this turn. He gets rid of his own Verbank, plays a Frozen City. Now whenever one of us attaches energies to our Pokemon, we need to put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon if it's not Team Plasma. And obviously Darkrai decks do not play Plasma Pokemon, so he knocks out my Darkrai and all of the energies that go with it. I now have in my hand a Dark Patch and 2 dark energies. I cannot play the Dark Patch because my bench Pokemon are not Darkness Pokemon. I just attached a Sableye, decided to put the 2 damage counters on Sableye. In hindsight, I probably should have played Mr. Mime as my active, but there's really not much else I could have done. At this point, I knew I was beat. He has 3 prizes left. I have all 6. I don't know if I'll even take a prize this turn, or this entire game. I decided to just junk hunt for a laser and an Ultra Ball. So now it's Michael's turn again. He is going to... looks like he is deciding, okay, what's the most damage I can do right now? I look through my discard pile. He attaches another Dark Patch to that Darkrai with 1 energy on it. And plays Ultra Ball. It looks like he's going to discard a Professor Juniper and a Sableye. Just to see what else he has left in his deck. He's going to go for another Sableye. So I look at the camera and see that my cards are a little out of focus, so I just move my deck and my discard pile a little into shot. And he attaches another dark energy to Darkrai, puts 2 damage counters on it. And in his position, he is in very good shape to just not care. He can put damage counters on all his Pokemon, and I don't know if I could do anything. Verbank is out of play, so I cannot do any more than 10 damage each turn with Laser, and at most it looks like I can only do 10 damage with Confuse Ray, so I'm looking at 20 damage a turn. Unless I could power up Keldeo, but that would be... that's not what Keldeo was intended for. It's not meant to attack, it's meant to rush in and retreat, basically just be a bench spotter. So he retreats into his Darkrai with the Dark Claw on it, and Night Spears to knock out Sableye, and takes another prize. And at this point I still have my Mr. Mime in play, so we cannot touch my bench, otherwise he probably would have won by now with bench damage. So I just send up my Keldeo, deciding what I can do. I'm going to Laser, flip heads, so at least he's asleep. Unless he can get a Keldeo in play, this is actually somewhat good for me. If I can keep him asleep, then the poison damage can keep racking up 10 damage at a time. And it's not that far out there that I could actually knock it out. So I go for a Darkrai with my Ultra Ball. At this point, I really don't know what else to do. I could go for Sableye and start getting resources back, but it's just incredibly easy to knock out. I'd rather go for a Darkrai and power it up manually. I attach Dark Energy, and Michael is kind enough to put the 2 damage counters on because I completely forgot. I Dark Patch another Dark Energy onto Darkrai and hoping that I top deck a Darkness Energy. He flips heads on the sleep, so he is still poisoned but not asleep anymore, which means he could retreat to another Darkrai and be out of the poison. He's going to Dark Patch probably onto the Darkrai, nope, onto the Sableye. And that makes sense, because if he wants to start junk hunting for stuff now, he can do that. He just put a Keldeo down and attached Dark Energy to it. He's probably going to rush and retreat just to get out of the poison. And he's going to Laser my Keldeo. Now I've got a Keldeo in the active spot with no way to get rid of the sleep or the poison. Not that it matters, because my Darkrai is not powered up to start doing damage yet. Michael plays Bicycle, draws 1, trying to decide what to do. He's definitely going to rush in and retreat. He just did. And he's probably going to Night Spear. I'm up to 100 damage on the mark. No, I'm up to 120 after the Dark Claw. I flip Tails on the sleep. And I just drew... It looks like it was a card I did not want to draw. Energy Switch. Now I have a Darkrai all powered up, but I have no way to get into the active spot. And I've got a Keldeo there that one more hit with Night Spear and it's dead. And Michael only has 2 prizes left. So he just drew the last card from his deck. So he did deck out, but it was not coming into his turn. So he's able to attack this turn, take 2 prizes for the win. So he's going to knock out the Keldeo and win the game. Looks like my prizes were... it looks like I missed out on a little bit by not having the prizes in my deck, but not too much. I'm looking to see where my next supporter was. There was an N, there was a Colress, there was a Juniper, but none of them really could have helped me. I just had a bad deck. I admit that Michael's deck was superior to mine, so that's why he won. And Michael's just a good player all around. He's terrific. He's extremely nice, extremely savvy, and I was very glad that I got to actually battle him on camera. Maybe I'll be able to do it again. If you guys have any comments on the video, be sure to leave it in the description bar, or not the description, in the comments section below. Thanks everyone for watching this video. This is SkullShirtical TCG, and stay tuned for more.